And thank you guys, to those of you in the chat. I know this is last second, but we still appreciate you coming in. We hope to give you a good show.
We got Devin99 in the building. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Thank you for having me on.
For sure, man. Always love to have you. So first off, we're going to talk about some of these injuries. They're saying that Taylor Decker was banged up all week. He had a shoulder injury, but he is active today. A couple other injury updates. We have Justin Coleman, who's finally playing after, a couple weeks being out. And for the Colts, their whole starting lineup is healthy. Ryan Kelly's in. They got Darius Leonard back after missing a couple weeks, which is huge for them. So, PD, what do you think about all these injury updates and who's starting?
Well, I'm definitely glad to see Justin Coleman back, honestly, because, pretty much I just remember how the Lions – I feel like we've taken a bigger hit than we should without Justin Coleman. I think Justin Coleman will give us a very necessary boost. And I think Taylor Decker's having a underrated season right now. I remember all of us were bitching about the contract that he got, but he's kind of living up to it right now. So good for that. So Darius Leonard is in then?
As far as what I am seeing currently, he still could play. I know they're, testing him out during warm-ups and probably be a game time decision given his injury listing.
All right, well, if he does play, good. I want to beat them at full strength. I don't want no asterisks on this win. Even if he doesn't play and we win, there's still you're right. We talked a little bit about a pregame show. I would still be I don't care who's playing for them and who's not playing for them. I just want the dub first and foremost. But if I'd like to have the dubs at full strength when the other team is at full strength, though. That's definitely the preference. So, we'll see how it goes.
Right. Being a Detroit fan, you don't want anyone having excuses when we get a win. So I like it. Devin, what do you think about all these injury updates?
I think it's great, especially Justin Coleman. I can't stand Darryl Roberts. He's just slow to me. And I don't think Taylor Decker has given up a sack all year. I'm pretty sure. So I think that's huge. And I'm not really worried about who they have out or not because it's gonna be a beatdown today.
I love it, dude. I love the optimism. I'm pretty happy. We got Taylor Decker in. We finally got Coleman back. They got DeForest Buckner in a trade this offseason. This guy is not that, easygoing. This dude's an animal. So I'm really hoping that, Decker can control him like he has with Khalil Mack, Zadarius Smith, all the guys we versed in the first couple of weeks. So that's going to be a good thing for us, especially with Matthew Stafford and his back injuries. Really don't want him, taking any big hits anymore, especially from that blind side.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I want to expand on something that Devin said really fast about if Darius Leonard's out, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a beatdown anyway. No, and this is not. I'm not making any game predictions, but one player should not make or break your team. So yeah, that whether we win or whether we lose, one player does not make or break the team.
Right. I love it, man. You can't have any excuses, right? Next man up motto. Yeah. But, so one of the things that is critical is those matchups, So, Devin, what do you think? What are some key matchups that, you're looking at and ones that you think are going to be critical for us to get that W?
I think Devin had to go for a second, but he'll be right back. He'll be right back. So,
all right, go ahead.
I just go then?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry,
dude, the matchup. Also, I'm gonna pretty much say this matchup on every pregame show that I come on. I don't come on all of them, but on the ones I do come on, this is gonna be my biggest. It's gonna be my biggest matchup. Is the head coaches. That is the matchup that I am probably most looking forward to. Matt Patricia's had 2 very good games in a row. And I don't think we've ever won 3 in a row under the Matt Patricia era. Andrew, have we won 3 in a row under the Matt Patricia tenure?
Considering he's only getting 3 wins in a season now.
So yeah, we need to take a dub. I need Matt Patricia to win 3 in a row for the first time, dude. And I need to see him continue to make adjustments, do all the right things, make the right calls, throw the right challenge flags, make the right game time decisions. We need to see him start building some consistency. There's been none of that so far during his tenure. I'm not gonna say he's had. So it's been so bad that we all forget. It's not been a total shit show. I mean, it basically has, but he's had his moments. He hasn't been totally hopeless. He has moments like the Patriots game, the Rams game, even though we lost that game. I would put that up there as a good moment. Or the Chiefs game. That was also a good moment for him, but it hasn't been that consistently. So we need to see more consistency out of Matt Patricia and see him out coach a coach that is viewed as superior to him.
I love that, man. I mean, coaching is huge. You can have the most talented team there is and not get get a win because the coaches can hold you back. Devin, you're looking at these matchups, given that we're versing the Colts, what are you looking for?
If we can shut down the run for the third week in a row, because if we shut down the run, I think we're gonna win. Because if we put the game in Phillip Rivers' hands and make him pass the ball, it's gonna be ugly. He's been terrible this year. I think he has 6 interceptions already this year. So, and if we just go down and score and let Matthew Stafford throw it downfield, we got to put pressure on Phillip Rivers to throw the ball. We should win.
Yeah, I love that, man. I mean, honestly, we shut down James Robinson. We shut down Gurley for the most part. It will be nice to see if we can stop JT, especially given how good the Colts offensive line, typically is. And they got their whole front 5, playing. So that's going to be a good matchup to watch for sure. For me, honestly, it's going to be the Matthew Stafford versus that defense matchup. I feel like we haven't unleashed Stafford yet, and this is the perfect week to do so. You need to take advantage of this secondary. They got a pretty solid front 7 for the most part. They got a couple playmakers in the secondary, but overall, you got Kenny Galladay, you got Hawkinson, you got Marvin Jones, you got a couple people that can hit deep. I need to see them unleash Stafford, okay? Because if we're going to have any hope in the season, it's going to be on Matthew Stafford's arm. So I want to see that, and everyone's saying the Colts have a really good defense. I want to see us show, the country that, well, we got a pretty good offense. So I'm definitely going to be watching Matt and hoping that he has a big game. Let's see here. Funk said, who's going to be covering Hillen? PD, who do you think's going to be covering Hillen in this matchup?
Good question. Damn it all, I'm just gonna go with Okuda. I think Okuda's gonna cover Hilton. I just got my Okuda jersey. I sent it to y'all in the chat. I got my Kudo jersey this week. So I think I'm going to ride with Okuda, and he's going to have a big day for us, and he's going to cover T.Y. Hilton.
All right. Devin, who do you think's going to be covering?
I think Okuda is going to cover T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton hasn't had his normal year. He hasn't been good. That could be because Phillip Rivers is terrible this year, but I think Amani Oruwariye is going to be on Michael Pittman. I think he's playing today.
Yeah.
On the injury report.
Yeah, Pittman should be playing, and as you said, dude, I mean, Phillip Rivers is not playing well. Hilton's been, banged up consistently throughout his tenure, with the Colts. I don't think there's going to be one person covering him. I think it's going to be more of a scheme, thing. So whatever side Hilton lines up, that's who you're going to get. You might get a little bit of Amani today. You might get a little bit of Okuda, and depending on if they line him up in the slot, he might even see a little bit of Coleman action. And I don't expect them to run a lot of man. If I were the Lions, I wouldn't run a lot of man. So I'm hoping they continue that trend, add a lot more zone defense, and make the quarterback beat them. But Devin, when you're looking at the Colts, what do you want to see? What do you want to see happen during this game? What's going to help the Lions, get that dub today?
You said it best. Unleash Stafford. I think we should let him throw the ball down the field. It's like we run it up the middle twice with Adrian Peterson. After Swift, the last drive goes for like 40 yards. He's tearing it up, and then they go back to Peterson, and then it's a 3rd and 10, and then it's an obvious passing situation. I think we need to start the game how we ended the last drive against the Falcons and just throw the ball down the field because no one in the league can stop him right now.
Okay, I like that. PD, what do you think? When you're looking at the Colts and you're looking at our team, what do you want to see? What do you think's gonna get us that dub today?
Just don't turn the ball over. Take what the defense is giving. That's what I think this is what this all boils down to. Just take what the defense gives you. If they give you a 5-yard completion, Like, take every little 5-yard completion you can take, because this Colts defense, they are allowing less than 10 yards per completion. And for not per attempts, per completion, but for those of you that might not know, that's very good if you're a defense, giving up single digit yards per completion. But yeah, just take care of the football and honestly, that's the biggest key is take care of the football and don't give the ball away. That's probably the biggest key, because the Colts defense can take the ball away kind of good. So yeah, that's my key.
Yeah, no, for sure. Keeping the ball in your hands and not turning it over is definitely a key factor. For me, honestly, I know I already said it, but I need to see Stafford, come alive. So Bevel better be calling these these intermediate and deep routes more frequently, and I want to see them utilize the run game more appropriately. I don't want to see runs up the middle on 1st and 2nd down and then be 3rd and 9 for Stafford. I don't want those drives to end early. I want to at least drive downfield. So if we have to punt, we're going to pin them, within the 10-yard line or something, because we got the best punter in the game.
Actually, Andrew, I have a question for you about running up the middle. So basically, the two most common runs I've seen from us so far are wide zones and dives. Do you think that it's because Darrell Bevel's limited in what he can run, or do you think it's because the personnel is only good enough to run those two types of runs? Because one play that stood out to me a week ago was when we tried anything other than a dive or an outside or in a wide zone, we went for like -5 yards on that little pitch. So I guess that's my question. Is it because we can't do it, or is it because Darrell Bevel is incompetent? That's for lack of a better word. Also, that's for Devin too. That can mean for Devin too.
Right. Well, I'll start off and I'll throw it over to Devin. For me personally, I think it's more of Darrell Bevel's play calling, because if you watch it, I mean, we can open up holes. Given they did shut it down, when we were bouncing outside last game, but like, you have to change it up. Throw a sweep, throw something, and just an outside, or even a draw play, something. I just need to see something other than a halfback dive up the middle, So I don't necessarily think it's, our personnel or something like that, because we do have a very good offensive line this year. Our offensive line is a top 10 line, so I think we have the potential. I just think they need to coach it up and, change it up, because you can't be that predictable. And that's exactly why AP is getting stuffed at the line of scrimmage on those 1st and 2nd down runs, because they're expecting us to do that. As a casual fan, if you can see it and you can see the repetitive nature of it, so can a defensive coordinator. They get paid hella bucks, to scout and make sure they know what to do in every situation. But Devin, what do you think about that?
I agree. I just think he's just not calling the right plays. It's just so repetitive and so predictable. It's just, he's in love with Adrian Peterson, because the first drive last week, Adrian Peterson got stuffed. And then the second drive, or the first drive they put Swift in, he was running all over him. And then the next drive we come out, they put Adrian Peterson back up and they're running up the middle. It's like, we can run it outside. It's not that hard. And Swift can break one if he goes outside. You just got to get him in open space.
Right. So that leads me to the next question. What do you think we should do with our running backs right now? We saw Adrian Peterson dominate, early in the season, but there seems to be a trend. Swift is killing it this year. So what do you think, Devin, that we should do with our running backs this game?
Start Swift. I wanted Swift to start before the season started. But today, I don't know if we're going to be able to run the ball like that, because their defensive line is very good. So go get him matched up on a linebacker and see what he can do. I think he can go one-on-one with most linebackers in the NFL.
Okay, I like that. PD, what do you think? What do you think we should do with our running backs this week?
Man, that's a tough one. Oh man, that's a really tough one. Honestly, I think in the first quarter, I think we need to figure out in the first quarter who's got the hot hand. Like, in the first quarter, do like a pretty decent split of Adrian Peter. Honestly, use all three of them. Find who's got the hot hand, like in the first drive or two, and then just ride with whoever is killing it based on those carries. I guess is what I would go with. I would say.
Okay, I mean, you can never go wrong with a high hand. Me personally, I love AP. I love what he can do, and I love how he forces the defense, to be honest. But for me, I'm going to put my best players in the position, to succeed. And for me, I think our best running back is DeAndre Swift. The guy can catch the ball. He can run. He can break huge plays. He's quick as shit. He's shifty. He showed good vision last week. For me personally, I'm giving DeAndre Swift around 20 touches this game. Okay, I don't care if it's through the air or on the ground. He should get around 20 touches. You draft someone that high, you better start playing him. I get it. It was a short off season. You got to get acclimated to the NFL, but he's showing that he's ready. So I think it's time to unleash him and use AP and Carry-On in a very limited role. I know Carry-On's very good at pass protection, which is fantastic, for those play action passes or something like that. And AP, he can keep the defense honest. But overall, you want your most dynamic player in the backfield, and that's going to be Swift. If you have him in the backfield, it's going to unleash Kenny Galladay and Hawkinson and Marvin Jones and all these guys, because the defense is going to have to contain him. You saw the last couple of weeks, he's able to break huge 50, 60-yard runs. So I think they're really, really going to have to just utilize this guy. So my next question, I'm going to put you guys in the head coach position. We had a whole week to plan for the Colts. PD, if you're the head coach, what is your game plan going into the game?
Oh man, I guess my big game plan is utilize the tight ends in this game. That's the first part, and just take every single yard that the defense gives you. Like, don't try to force anything. You guys are having a different idea than I am. Like, you're saying like, I want to see some shots. I don't know if I want to see shots in this game, because this Colts defense, it's legit. They got 10 interceptions so far, so that's scary. You want to take care of the football in this particular game. But I guess my game plan is utilize the tight ends. I mean, Jesse James, ever since he caught that like prayer from Stafford, and actually on that, what play I'm talking about, Andrew?
Yeah.
So ever since he caught that prayer, he's been he's gone back to milk carton. No, utilize Jesse James. Bro, scrub players don't make those plays. And in all honesty, when you watch the all-22 footage, the decision was not as bad as it looks, because Jesse James actually did get a couple steps on the defender, but Stafford just grossly underthrew the pass. But James bailed him out. Sometimes you need a receiver to bail out your quarterback, and James did that on that play. So utilize Jesse James. You know what? I know it's just one play, but bad tight ends don't make that play. So utilize your tight ends. Utilize Hawkinson. Utilize Jesse James. So I guess that's my offensive game plan, and just take every inch that the defense gives you. And then for the defensive game plan, it's like, try to get an interception or two. Find a tricky coverage, like make it look like it's so obviously cover one man, and then play cover three, or make it look like it's so obviously cover two man, and then roll to cover three or something like that. Be tricky with your defenses. I saw Matt Patricia run something pretty tricky against the Jacksonville Jaguars, believe it or not, on the Deron Harmon interception. But run something tricky in this game on defense.
Okay, I like that, man. Yeah, you got to change it up, because if you're predictable and the offense can read your defensive scheme, pre-snap, that's where good quarterbacks are able to dissect you. Good coaches can game plan around that. Devin, let's say you're Matt Patricia. What are you doing here, man? What is your game plan?
Offensively, getting the tight end involved, like he said, and just letting Stafford throw it down the field. I'm so tired of little short. And if run some screens, not with Danny Amendola like they did last week, that don't make sense. Run a screen with Swift, anybody with Danny Amendola. And for defensively, I really want to change it much from last week. We were stuffing the run last week, and we just went against the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. And no one's shutting them two down, but we contain them like Julio. I don't think he had more than 100 yards. He didn't have a touchdown. Calvin Ridley only had a touchdown. So I think we just, like, the Falcons' offense was way better in my opinion. So I wouldn't really change it that much. Just focus on the run and let Phillip Rivers throw the ball. He's going to make a mistake.
I like one thing, you said. You mentioned the fact that we need to throw them screens to Swift or someone instead of Danny Amendola.
That was awful.
I'll tell you what, never in my life have I seen us be good at throwing wide receiver screens. When Tate was here, yeah, we weren't bad, but we've never been a very good wide receiver screen play calling team.
And why Danny Amendola? Oh,
I know.
Right.
Right.
I would rather throw one to like carry on, like somebody.
Right. So throw it to the running backs, kind of how the Saints do with Kamara, or do it to where it's a fake screen one way and you shuffle past it to Hawkinson, because I've seen them do that before. It's very dynamic, and it does keep the defense honest. They get a little nervous when you start throwing plays at them they've never seen before. So I definitely would love that. For me, offensively, I need to see them be aggressive as shit. All right. I don't want no close game. You have the potential to put up 30+ points. Okay. Yes, they do have a good defense, according to this year and everything, but they have Xavier Rhodes. We were cooking Xavier Rhodes. I'm pretty sure Marvin Jones has cooked Xavier Rhodes his whole time in Detroit. So, what I'm saying? And he's one of their best secondary players. So for me, I want to see them just completely unleash Stafford's arm, and I want to see them supplement the run with some nice, outside runs, and just keep it a little balance with that. I don't want to see run up the middle over and over and over again, because the defense is going to get they're going to catch on. This is the NFL. This is not high school football or something. So I definitely want to see that, and I want to see them use DeAndre Swift. I know I said it earlier, but you need to give this man 20 touches a game. Okay. Hawkinson, you need to give him at least 8 targets a game. Kenny Galladay, same thing. I don't want to see them not utilize their best playmakers. It's fine. Like PD said, if the defense is giving you something, take it. That's what good teams do. But don't try and force it. You do have very good playmakers, and we should be able to cook that defense. And on defense, like you were saying, we really did contain Julio and Calvin last week. I know they combined for like 160 yards and a touchdown or so, but other teams are allowing that for each one of those players like a game. So the fact that we did that for them combined was phenomenal. And the Colts are not nearly as good as Atlanta on offense. They don't have a Julio. They don't have a Calvin Ridley. And Jonathan Taylor and Todd Gurley are around the same level for me. So when I'm looking at it, I want to see a lot of stacked boxes. All right. You contain Jonathan Taylor and you force Phillip Rivers to beat you. He's not going to beat you. This is not the same Phillip Rivers that was on the Chargers, that had a good arm. The dude was a gunslinger. He has definitely digressed. So I want to see a lot of zone blitzes, and I don't mind man here and there, but they better not run that crap that much this week. You need to stack the box, force their quarterback to beat you. Okay. And definitely dial up that pressure. We played Phillip Rivers last year and we were able to beat him. He really didn't do much against us last year. And personally, I think the Chargers offense that they had going against us compared to the Colts offense this year is much better. The Chargers have freaking Keenan Allen. There's no Keenan Allen on the Colts. The Chargers have Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon. Jonathan Taylor, personally, I don't think is as good as Austin Eckler is. That boy's a beast. He came out of nowhere, popping off 5-6 yards a carry every single game. I think, honestly, it should be an easy win for me personally. I really do.
It should be.
So, if there's any questions, I want you guys to start posting them now. We're going to start wrapping up.
We got to come out like we did against the Saints, but we got to keep the pressure on them, because we started really good against the Saints, but the Colts don't have nowhere near an offense like the Saints. They don't have Alvin Kamara and Drew Brees, but if we can just come out hot in the first quarter and just build up a lead, that's how you get Phillip Rivers to throw the ball, because they're not going to be running the ball back to back to back if we're up 14. We just got to come out swinging and keep the pressure on them.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's a distinct difference between elite teams and above average teams or even average teams. And the common difference is that those elite teams will literally grind your face into the dirt. All right. I've seen the Ravens put up 40 more points than a team in a game and keep all their starters in and just demolish a team. Given I would pull my starters towards the end, but they don't lay off the gas. The Saints will put up 40 something points. They don't lay off the gas. They're still taking shots deep. They're not altering their game plan to run the clock out and hope that the other team can't capitalize. You take the game into your hands and you make it to where they don't need to do that. So I like that. A lot of people are saying in the chat, run that play action. I would love a flea flicker or something on the first play like we did last year. I mean, that is fire,
Against the Packers last year, that was awesome.
Right. No, I mean, that's what I'm saying, and you can run that with AP. That's a perfect scenario where you have AP in and the defense is going to try and stuff that that dive play, and then you bomb it deep. You got multiple receivers that can get deep. Marvin Hall is a speedster. Galladay's contested catch playmaker. Hawkinson, same thing. Same thing with Marvin Jones. So let's see. We got what will be the biggest factor in getting turnovers this game? PD, I'll throw it over to you.
Just catch the ball if it hits your hands. Pick up the ball if it falls on the ground. I feel like we've had more dropped interceptions than I would like to say we've had. So like that's honestly the biggest key. Catch it. If it hits your hands, catch the damn ball. That's what it all comes down to. I don't think we're gonna totally I'm sure we can fool Phillip Rivers here and there. Like we're not gonna fool him all the time because he's a veteran quarterback. He's seen just about everything that you can possibly see in football. But I guess that's my key. Just catch the ball if it hits your hands and pick it up if it hits the ground. Andrew, you there?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Devin, what's going to be the biggest factor in getting turnovers this game?
Stuff to run. I keep saying it. Stuff to run and make Phillip Rivers throw the ball. He's going to do it for us.
Yeah, I agree with you both. You need to execute and you need to force Rivers to get uncomfortable. We have the playmakers to get to the passer. I've seen it every single week. We're a hairline away from getting our hands on the quarterback. So I think for us, we're going to have to rattle him. You're going to have to knock him to the ground. You're going to have to wrap up because honestly, I've seen it way too many times where we're right there and we literally just miss. Another question is who has to be on their game to get our offense going aside from Stafford? PD, I'll throw that to you.
Man, who has to be on the game? Damn that. Darrell Bevel has to be on his game.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Devin, who do you think has to be on their game?
I agree with Darrell Bevel, but player-wise, it's tough, to be honest, because I feel like Marvin Jones is going to show up regardless because he's got Xavier Rose on him. And Kenny Galladay, he always shows up, so like Danny Amendola maybe, because he's like that sure hand guy on third down. You throw it his way, he's most likely going to come down with it. And if he's on his A game, that offense can be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, our wide receivers are going to have to step up. We are very high up in drop passes, and I mean, I've seen it every week. There's a perfect pass thrown to a wide receiver in a critical position, and they drop it. For me, it's going to be that offensive line, and I'm not giving a specific player because it's going to be whoever's guarding Buckner. Okay, I don't want this guy wreaking havoc. So hopefully he just lines up against Taylor Decker and he can cancel him out. But they're going to have to really, plan for this guy. This guy is a big playmaker. He's made a lot of plays last year when he was with the 49ers. I don't want to see the D-line getting so much pressure to the point where Stafford can't do his thing or we can't do anything on the ground game because they're blowing through the line. So for me, if that O-line is stepping up and they give Stafford the time, I think that's going to be the downfall of the Colts this week. So I'll wrap it up. Let's give those game predictions, Devin. What do you think the final score is going to be?
Oh, I'm terrible at game prediction. I'm gonna be honest, but to be honest, I could see us getting 30 plus because I really think their defense is so overrated. They had Joe Burrow looking like Tom Brady out there. They haven't played a quarterback near Stafford's level this year, so I'm gonna go with 30 to 21. I don't know. A Lions win.
That's what matters, right?
Yep.
PD, what do you think? What's your score prediction?
I try to stay away from, honestly, I'm sorry to disappoint, but I'm gonna have to bow out. I don't like making predictions. I'll tell a fine little story. A year ago, when the Lions were playing the Raiders, I was feeling so good that day. You remember that Raiders game, guys?
Yeah, that was
so. This is before you joined the DSA, Andrew. So we're like, give a bold prediction for the game, and my bold prediction was that Stafford would throw 8 touchdown passes.
Break that NFL record.
and it obviously didn't come to fruition, and we obviously took a big fat L. So ever since that day, I stick away from predictions.
Wasn't that the game? Matt Patricia took out Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones and threw the ball on 4th down to win the game.
Yeah,
That's so. He took out his best players and threw the ball to Logan Thomas. Like what?
Well, that's what you do in critical positions, man.
But yeah, I try to stay away from predictions. I guess that was my overall point. But I feel good about this game. I feel like we can do it, but I try to stay away from predictions. But that dude actually has one other question really fast.
Okay. So I'm just gonna give my prediction. We'll cover that. We'll give final thoughts. So for me, I'm looking at about 30-20. I think the Lions are gonna whoop them, but I still think that the Colts offense, has enough weapons to where they'll put up some points. But I think we're gonna make Philip Rivers very uncomfortable this week. I like what our defense has done the last couple of weeks. They're getting after the quarterback. They're stuffing the run. It's going to be interesting, but I think that we'll get around the double digit, margin of a victory, and it's going to be a good game. That dude has another question. He says, if it's up to Prater kicking the winning field goal at 50 plus, are you guys comfortable with him this year? Devin, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's Matt Prater. Didn't he hit a 50-yarder last week, or was it like a 49er? 49. Yeah,
it was like that. I mean, he hit like a 47-yard PAT to win the game.
yeah. That was crazy.
Right.
He can definitely hit it still.
Right. PD, what do you think? Prater got the leg.
Dude, I hate field goals. I hate last-second field goals more than any. Like, there's nothing that, like, breaks my heart. Or there's nothing that gives me a heart attack more than last-second field goals, dude. I mean, I'll trust him because I don't have a choice, but it's like, I just hate last-second field goals. I trust Prater. Like, he had a real good game last week. I know he had one missed field goal, but I think outside of that miss, like, he had a really solid game a week ago. So, yeah, I trust Prater to make the field goal, but I just hope that we're not in that position because I can't take field goal kicking at the last second. Like, it gives me a freaking heart attack. So.
Right. I mean, I like that. I definitely, I trust Prater. That dude has ice in his veins. He's able to get it done. I'm fully confident in that. So PD, why don't you give your final thoughts? What do you think?
So thanks everyone for coming in. I know this was last second that Andrew put this together. Thanks to Andrew for putting this together at the last second. But,
for sure.
Just thanks for coming in. This is a week-to-week league. But this Lions team especially is a week-to-week team. So don't get too high if we win. Don't get too low when we lose. I mean, if I don't know what's going to happen in this game. I mean, I always get super high off a win the day of, and then I come back to earth the next day, and then I get then it just ruins my day whenever we lose. And I'm mad about it all day, and then it takes me all day to get over it, and the next day I'm usually okay. So I guess my overall point is even keel. It's a week-to-week league, and this is a week-to-week team, and we'll see what happens. And go Lions. Let's get a dub. Let's get above 500. Seriously. Let's just get above 500. Let's get Matt Patricia his first 3-game winning streak, and then his first 4-game winning streak, and then his first 5, etc. So, yeah, go Lions. Let's get this dub today.
I love it. Devin, what are your final thoughts, man?
Once again, thank you for having me on. And I really think this is gonna be a statement game by the Lions. Like, I'm not a Matt Patricia fan, but love him or hate him, the team is bought in, and you can tell they bought into his system by like when they're mic'd up and the post game celebrations. And I really think they're gonna go out and they're gonna dominate. And if they don't, fire Pat Patricia.
You gotta take them when you can, right?
Yep.
Thanks for coming on, guys. It definitely was very last minute. I think a lot of people are very hungover today. A lot of people, were drinking last night for the Halloween and everything, and the Michigan State game. So appreciate y'all for coming on in short notice. I'm just gonna say it. We're going to catch that dub. All right. I hate Matt Patricia, just like you said, Devin. If he loses, I always want him out of the door. But in this situation, I don't think the Colts team is that great of a team. I think their record definitely is well above what their talent is because they versed literally the worst teams in the NFL so far. and have had the easiest strength of schedule. So I think they're going to have a real shocker with us, hosting them, and I think we're just going to put a whooping on them. But go Lions, man. Hope you all have fun watching the game.